right, we got elections underway. The June 28th primary is June 28th, but early voting started yesterday, and there's lots of choices all over the place, including yesterday we talked with a Republican who's just one of like 6 or 7 looking to take on Tammy Duckworth in the U.S. Senate. And in the 13th Congressional District, which is a new district that some people look at and say this is gerrymandered. But it's a new district that encompasses parts of the Metro East, St. Louis area, wraps in a whole bunch of rural areas all throughout central Illinois, and then I think dips into Decatur and I think Champaign as well. So it's an interesting kind of congressional district, but you've got a lot of choices there on both ballots. Again, the primary, you can only pick a Republican ballot or you can only pick a Democratic ballot. And on the Democrat side, you've got 3 different people looking to take on whoever, actually only 2. One of them was removed. But you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 different Republicans that are vying for the nomination. One being Terry Martin, another one being Regan Deering, another one being Jesse Rising. But now we're going to talk with Matt Hausman. He is running for the 13th Congressional District as a Republican, and he joins us on WMAY. Matt, thanks for taking time with us this morning. Why do you want to run for a body and join a group of people that seems to have a lower approval rating than the national media? Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having me, and glad to be here. And yes, that definitely sounds correct. It's not even lower than the media. A couple of weeks ago, my dad showed me a comedy clip. I forget who it was, but was saying that there was polling data that shows it's even less than some parasites that Congress has a lower approval rating.
Well, it's called politics for a reason. I forget who made that joke. It's like poly as in many, as in ticks, blood-sucking creatures.
You beat me to it, Greg. I was actually going to say exactly that one. I think it was Mark Twain. Or at least it sounds like a Mark Twain type of quote.
It sounds like a Mark Twain kind of quote, absolutely. So why do you want to get involved in politics?
So just because of that reason. It is so nasty and so dirty, and nobody trusts it. But if you don't have people who want to get in for the right reasons and want to change things, it never will change. And when I was considering running, I'm in part of a group called Braver Angels, which works to try to bring together blues and reds, as they call them. Not to change anybody's mind, but just to have civil discourse and respect. And somebody was talking about how they had run or started to run for, I believe it was a mayor's race somewhere up north. And it just got so negative and so vitriolic that she just said she couldn't do it anymore. She didn't want to put her family through it and decided to get out of the race, and said, I just wish people who want to get things done and bring people together, that they would run. And I thought about it, that if I don't do this and just wait for somebody else to do it, and everybody else is waiting for someone else, it never gets done. And so somebody has to step up and at least make the effort.
We're talking with Matt Hausman. He is running for the Republican nomination for the 13th Congressional District. So the 13th Congressional District, Matt, is pretty long district, long and narrow, wrapping in some urban areas like the Metro East area. I think Decatur's wrapped into there as well. Where are you from? Who are you? And why should people cast a vote for you in the primary?
So I am over by Champaign. So I'm on the eastern end of the district, and born and raised in Champaign County. Grew up on the family farm just south of Champaign. And I'm one of those rare people that actually left Illinois and decided to come back. My version of the American dream growing up was to be an astronaut. So I went into aerospace engineering. Unfortunately, I found out you don't see this on the radio, but I'm 6'7", and I'm 2 inches too tall to be an astronaut, it turns out. So I went ahead and decided to go into aerospace engineering, work for Boeing, work for SpaceX. And through that, I also wanted to learn to give back, because I've been so fortunate to have great experiences in life. And so I became a teacher in East Los Angeles for a while, the low-income charter school. I got a certificate in nonprofit management, traveled around the world doing different volunteer projects, working for example, the YMCA in Columbia, and then moved back to Illinois 4 years ago, mostly just because I wanted to be back down on the family farm. We're in the middle of that generational transfer. And I've been running a nonprofit here in Champaign called Feeding Our Kids, where we feed over 1,000 hungry kids on the weekends all throughout Champaign County. So that breadth of experience and having these different perspectives gives me a unique ability to reach across the aisle and get things done. So I think that's what I bring to the table that voters would appreciate.
Matt Hausman joins us. He's running for the Republican nomination for the 13th Congressional District, of course, the June 28th primary, with early voting underway now. Matt, what do you think are some of the key issues that the next Congress is going to have to tackle? We've got inflation through the roof. We've got gas prices that don't seem to be letting up. We've got the war in Ukraine that they just approved $40 billion for, and also issues of abortion and more. What are some of the main things that you're campaigning on to set you apart from those others who are also vying for the Republican nomination?
So the big ones, and you mentioned a few of them, inflation in the economy is probably the single biggest one that it's on everybody's mind. And so that's why we've got to get government spending under control. I support legislation that was proposed by Congressman Davis about making sure that inflation analysis is a requirement for all future government spending to make sure we're actually looking at that possible impact. So I support legislation like that. Other big issues, crime is a huge one, especially over here in Champaign. Getting ready to go over to after this, there's a memorial service for officers that lost their lives in the line of duty. And that's just another big concern as crime continues to tick up. And we have to address that on multiple levels. Obviously, we need to support our police, give them all they need, but we also have to address those root causes and try to steer youth away from criminal behavior. And that leads into the other big aspect is education. Education is a huge issue that people are worried about, and that being a former teacher, I'm focused on.
Matt, if people want more information about your campaign, where can they find it?
So we're actually going to be in Springfield on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. at Fulgenzi's. We're doing an event there. So if people would like to come by, you can go to our website and find out more. That's hausmanforcongress.com. The spelling is HAUSMAN for congress.com. You can go learn more about me and our platform. You can sign up to volunteer, and then you can go to the events page and learn more about this event we're having on Sunday at Fulgenzi's.
Greatly appreciate you taking the time. I imagine we'll likely talk again in the weeks ahead as we march towards the June 28th primary. Matt Hausman running as a Republican in the 13th Congressional District to get the party's nomination. Appreciate your time. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you much, Greg. You have a great day.
You too. It is Springfield's Morning News now on 92.7 WMA.